Most women won't win.
Yeah.
That is so powerful. I mean, if anyone takes anything away from this podcast, I hope they take that away.
We're doing this. I put it in my goals and I wrote it all down. And 10 days after my brother passed away.
Now, Judith, help us out. I'm shy.
So what is the issue that's stopping you to get to here?
Hello and welcome to the Black Swan Life podcast. I have a very beautiful, very smart, very audacious guest with me today. And her name happens to be Judith. Welcome, Judith.
Thank you, Chengi. Hello.
I'm going to tell you something about Judith. She's a naughty little girl. I'll tell you what, this woman is incredible. I met you how many years ago now? About 3 years ago?
I think so, yeah.
I loved it because I love people who go for what they want. I'm a go-getter kind of girl. I love a person who was like, listen, because for some crazy reason, I intimidate a lot of people. I don't know why. I'm the nicest girl ever. But, you know, I know when somebody's like, hey, girl, I want to get to know you. I'm like, yes. No, I don't say yes to everybody, but I had to say yes to you, girl, because I loved you're just so elegant, you're so eloquent, I loved you. I just had this feeling. Sometimes you just love somebody,
yes,
right?
Yes.
And then you came over to my office at the time and we had an amazing chat. And guess what? She sent me this beautiful bouquet of flowers. Learn a thing or two, girls. You know, learn a thing or two. And she brought me a bottle of champagne today. So she shall be back on this podcast.
There you go. I can show you some tips and tricks of how to, you know,
absolutely
build good relationships with people.
We're here to learn from you today, Judith.
Yes.
We're here to learn from you. I love it. So who else was I going to bring on to talk about mindset and high performance? I'm going to read her intro because it's really cool. Okay, I'm going to read this. Judith is a mindset and high performance coach and best-selling author of Go Find the Audacity in You. A book after my own heart. The title sings to me. A book written to encourage individuals to overcome their limiting beliefs and go after their dreams. We are in a dream world, aren't we? We are in a world where people want to pursue their dreams, but something is holding them back. What is holding them back, in your opinion, Judith? What's holding people back?
I think people don't have the, I want to say audacity because that's the book title.
Yes.
And I've always had audacity, courage, I would say.
Yeah.
So what you just said, I saw you on social media and I was like, this girl is thriving. She's killing it on social media. She looks like she's amazing. And I thought, why should I not say hi? I love connecting with people that are doing, they're just going for their dreams, you know. Right. And I observed you for a few months and I followed you for a couple of months and I was looking at what you're doing. And I thought, I'm going to come after you and see if we can be friends because the energy was really similar. Yeah, and so I think for me, it's really important to just have that willingness to hear no, because you could have said no, thanks, or you could have ignored it. Right. All the DMs. Right. So I think willing to hear no and also having the audacity and also knowing what you're bringing to the table, because I was thinking, if this girl says no, she's going to be missing out.
Yes.
Like, why would you not want to be my friend?
Hello. I agree. I love it. So do you think you were born with audacity, or is that something that you had to learn along the way?
So I feel that not most people, all children are born with audacity because you don't see any children that, are little and they're not trying to make friends with other children or, trying to learn how to walk and fall and get up again. Yeah. Right. So I think everybody is born with audacity, courage. And then somehow as you're growing up, it gets eroded because we love our parents, but they also love us to death sometimes and they love the courage out of us. And when they see us, dropping, they go, oh my God, don't do that again. Yeah. That's going to hurt you. Yeah. Don't say that again. Yeah. People are not going to want to hear you. Don't have an opinion because it might not resonate with the whole society. So that then gets eroded as you grow up. Right. So I think my personal philosophy and belief is that we're all born with courage. We're all born with audacity. And then it gets stripped away slowly as we grow up. So if you had those parents who are either overprotective and through love and affection, they want to protect you, they might have protected you out of your confidence. Or if you had parents that sort of soothed you into, go try, go fly. It might work out, it might not. We'll work it out, whatever comes out. And if you had those parents, then you might have sustained or kept your confidence and your audacity. Or there's other people in the middle that they still didn't have any of that. They didn't have courage or nurturing, and they still got put down, but there was something inside of them that refused to stay down and continuously wanted to seek something else outside of them. And I think I'm one of those people. And I think there's many of us out there that needs to just see one of them out there and get ignited and then restart the passion, which is why I wrote the book, and which is why I feel that we all have courage and audacity when we're born, and it just gets stripped out.
Why we all need it. So you were saying that you didn't lose yours. Did you ever lose it, or and have to find it, or were you always the woman who was ready to go for it no matter what?
Yeah, no, I definitely lost mine. So just a little bit about myself. So I grew up in Kenya, I grew up in Nairobi in Kenya. And throughout my childhood, I didn't necessarily have the tools or the adults that say to me, you're amazing, you're going to do well. And on top of that, I had really bad, I wasn't really a good student, and I was failing a lot in school. So that didn't help my courage.
Right.
I also was bullied a lot as a child, just because people are mean, and sometimes grown-ups and adults can be quite mean.
Yes.
And there was a lot of name calling and shaming as well, just because I was really dark skinned, as you can see my gorgeous skin. So I got bullied a lot. And so a lot of my courage was stripped. A lot of my audacity was stripped.
Right.
And then in my late teens, I switched countries as well. So I came to the UK in my teens. And also having a new country, trying to adapt to the culture, the language, that also sort of minimizes you. But then I had an amazing older sister. Thank God for older siblings. And she was thriving at the time. She was working in HR, and she knew a bit about personal development. And so she was dragging me into everywhere she went. She'd be like, you've got to come here, you've got to come there. And obviously, culturally, we kind of listen to our older siblings. Like, I've got to listen to my sister.
Yeah.
So she got me these tickets. And once she said to me, you've got to come to this event. You need it. And I was like, I know who you think you are, telling me what I need. But because you're older than me, I'm going to listen to you. Right. So we went to a Tony Robbins.
Oh, my goodness.
I know, right? He was my first guy for personal development.
Wow.
So I went to this event. I was like, ugh, older sister dragging me, rolling my eyes. We got to this place. There was thousands of people. And that was in 2003. Like, no one really knew about Tony Robbins then, apart from like really high performance individuals.
Right.
So we went to this conference, and it started, obviously, as you know, Tony's music, everything. And this tall giant was on the stage, and he was going, you can do everything you think you can't. You have it inside of you. In the next, it was like 2 hours, you're going to be walking on hot coal, and you're not going to get burned. You're going to be amazing. You've got this. And he was just like, and I was literally looking at this guy, and I was thinking, I know who you're talking to. You don't know my background. You don't know me. Yeah. Unfortunately, when I was younger, I got some scars as well through an accident. So I was thinking, and if you think I'm going to walk on hot coal and burn myself, so you can see where my mindset was, right? I was just rejecting everything.
Yes.
Even though I was in this space where I could see the energy was really vibrating it on a different level. Right. Music was really good. People there were really like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm here, Tony Robbins. And I'm like, I don't care who this guy is. Yeah. He's not going to do anything for me.
Right.
Long story short, 2 hours later, I was like, I'm going to walk on this firewall.
You got it.
Bring on the fire. I'm going to do it. I can do this. Like literally 2 hours later.
Yeah.
So we got to this hot coal. I think it's about 6 foot long. And I was like, okay, Judith, you're about to do this. And I was thinking in my head, if I don't burn, that's going to say something about me.
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely.
So I took a couple of breaths in. Tony was like, you can do this. Da-da-da. And he was like, go. And literally, I just walked on the hot coal and got to the other end. And my brain was still thinking, just check your feet and make sure you're good. Yeah. And literally, I was checking my feet, and there was no burns.
Wow.
Nothing.
Wow.
And it was almost like this in an instant. My brain switched. And I thought, if I could do this when I don't really care about what I'm being told,
right,
and I feel that I'm at my lowest,
right,
what can I do when I pay attention to my thoughts, feelings, and actions?
Right.
And actually have clarity of what I want to do.
Right.
And literally, I came into that conference thinking, I don't know who this person thinks he is. I know who my sister thinks she is, but I'm coming.
Right.
And I walked away 4 days later thinking, bring on the world. I'm about to like crush everything.
Right.
And so I got my confidence back then.
Wow.
But then obviously the journey began for me to start working through it. But literally it was in a moment. I was like, whoa. Walked on hot coal, didn't burn. I was focused. What can I do next? And I went back transformed, literally. So yes, I had lost it.
Yeah.
But Tony Robbins brought it right back. So I'm always, for me, I'm a big fan. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah.
Because he was my first transformational person that I ever met.
Yes.
And he literally, what he said helped me transform my life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's so funny you mention him because he was the first book I ever read, Unlimited Power. Transformational.
There you go.
I mean, I until then I hadn't lived.
Yeah.
When I read that book. So that's just really powerful. Now, when I'm listening to you speaking, I'm thinking, okay, this was a woman who was inherently audacious, like a baby. We all are.
Yeah.
Then something happened. Life happened. Life was lifing. The bullies were bullying.
You're never bullying, for sure. Yeah.
I've had clients who are fair skinned and got bullied for being fair skinned, right? Because nobody wins in this life. You're either too short, too fat, too whatever. You're too something. But I understand this one. And you decided, something happened in you in that little moment.
Yeah.
I'm assuming there's a belief system you developed in that season of your life. Do you believe that because 2 hours over like a chunk of horridness, changing countries, not being so great. Like I wasn't very much of an academic myself. I did not understand the point of school. I do now, but I didn't then. But even then, I'm like, no, I don't want to learn what you want me to learn. I want to learn what I want to learn.
Yeah.
So all of those kind of, I developed some beliefs as well. And so 2 hours, I'm assuming in this 2 hours, something broke. I'm assuming it's a limiting belief. Do you think limiting beliefs are the culprit? Because I'm sure we can all tell a story. Or do you think there's something greater at work that stops us from then living out or pursuing? Or do we just die to the audacity? What do you think happens to those of us who never, or who are still struggling or in that middle place? What happens and how can we break that in terms of the limiting beliefs? And what are some typical limiting beliefs that you find in your practice that people tend to have in general, men and women?
So the biggest thing I can say is we are what we say we are. Okay, so if you say that I am not amazing, I'm not good at computers, I'm not good at talking in front of people, I'm not good at being on stage, I cannot write a book.
Right.
We literally become that.
Right.
Because, I think we have, I don't know how many thousands of cells in our bodies. And those cells go to work when we say something. So we're almost like I always hesitate to say this, but it's the closest thing that I can relate to, like a computer, and we're downloading information.
Of course.
So our body, what we say, the body takes in.
Right.
So the body, you're almost like recoding yourself. With every word,
Right.
you're coding your body and what its capabilities of doing is. So I think one of the main thing is people, whatever they say, they're not conscious. They don't think about what they say. And that was me. I was just being like, everything that I got told I was or couldn't do, I was just repeating that.
Right.
There was nothing new information that I was bringing to the table. So if anyone said to me, oh, you need to go uni, I'm like, I'm not good at school.
Right.
If I was told, I tell a story in my book about, a friend of mine, I was working in retail at the time, and she got promoted and she went to work in a bank. At the time I was working in Gap many moons ago.
Yeah.
And she said to me, you're a great manager, because I was a floor manager. And she said to me, you're amazing. Come with me to the bank.
Right.
I'm going to give you a promotion because I can see what you can do. And because I was told I wasn't good with money in maths in school.
Right.
I was my idea of a bank was money.
Right.
So I said, no, thanks.
Right.
I'm going to pass that massive opportunity to get more money, upgrade myself career-wise, because I'm not good at money. So, but I was actually doing the same thing. I was already managing people.
Right.
I was running a multi-million-pound business already. I was already operationally, I could read P&Ls. I could analyze sales trends. I was good at HR, managing teams, coaching, developing people. And there I was saying, no, I'm not good at money.
Yeah.
Discounting everything else that I'm great at.
Wow.
So I think to your question in terms of what happens is, I think when you identify yourself as one thing,
Right.
I'm this, and also you don't get new information.
Right.
So your information is still the same. So I think limiting beliefs then comes when people don't want to know anything new. It's like, I'm like this, that's the end.
Right. Right.
So no
right.
room for growth.
Yeah.
That is another limiting belief that keeps people stuck. And also one of the other biggest thing is when you then surround yourself with people that have a limiting mindset.
Right.
So they then reinforce what you want to do. If you have a tiny idea, they'll reinforce how it's not possible for them or for you. And so you should stay where you are. So then it becomes really important that you start to redefine yourself, because a lot of the times we might not be able to, move countries or, go to somewhere else where you can have that, those people that will help you thrive.
Right.
You're surrounded with people that have got a worse limiting mindset than yours.
Right.
So how you come out of that is literally just starting to understand yourself.
Right.
And what's stopping you.
Right.
Then you start to call yourself different things.
Yeah.
And allow yourself to try something new, and allow yourself to fail a little bit, and not, hearing no, and then working through those emotions, and then coming back into the ring and trying again.
I love that. Is that something that you help people with? Is that something that, I feel like I'm a random person.
Yeah.
I feel there's something I should be doing bigger than me, greater than me. So I come to Judith, and this is the kind of work that you would do with me. You would hold my hand through the emotions, the stories, the beliefs that I have. Is that something that you would do with me?
Absolutely. So one of the things that I do at the moment, I work with corporate businesses. So we help them align their teams with the company's mission, vision, values, so that they can deliver their KPIs, whatever they look like.
Right.
And a lot of that revolves around helping the teams get out of the mindset of what is achievable.
Right.
Because we all know about SMART goals.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that SMART goals is achievable. The A in the SMART is always achievable. So what I do, I go in and say, let's throw the A out, because we're all doing achievable things at the moment. That's why we're all kind of regular. We're all in the same space.
Right.
We want audacious goals. We want big goals.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what I do is I'll come in and say, like SMART goals, yes, let's make them specific, measurable. The audacious then kicks in. What does that look like within companies and within individuals? So I do work with founders, and with the founders as well, I help them, again, break that mental limiting capacity, because most of them want to earn in the regions of like 7 or 8 figures.
Right.
And they're stuck
Right.
somewhere in between.
Right.
And most people are stuck because, I want to say it's simple, because sometimes it could just be that switch like I had with Tony, where you go, oh my God, I can do this without, without any tools. Because at the moment, Tony didn't give me any tools. He didn't say, go do A, B, and C.
Right.
I just walked on something and I got, oh my God, if I can do this.
can.
So sometimes it could be just their awareness
Yeah.
with someone and say, do you know this? X, Y, and it just changes their mindset, and they go, oh my God.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's that, and sometimes it's trauma. So my background is in as a therapist, so I'm a qualified therapist. And sometimes when you hear someone's language, you can hear where they're stuck. So they'll say something like, I'm afraid to do this because I don't want my family to do X, Y, and Z. Or I'm afraid to be seen because then I'm going to be successful and then I can't maintain that. What then do I do to maintain the success?
Right.
Because it's not only one way where people don't want to be seen because they're afraid of failure. There's also the other extreme where when you're successful, then what? So now I'm successful, then what?
Isn't that bizarre? So bizarre. But I understand from your perspective.
Yeah.
I love that. I'm like, okay, maybe we should just have Judith come and work. Well, Judith the Black Swan.
Yes to that, by the way, just in case you're wondering.
It's like, yes, I'll do it. We need to be audacious. I love it. Actually, I saw something on Instagram where you were speaking about, I think you said, I quote, most women won't win.
Yeah.
And our audience is mainly women. We have some men too, so I'm sure this is going to apply as well. But why is it that most women won't win?
Okay. So the number one reason, in my opinion, is because women love to have this idea of perfection. So I'm going to wait until it's perfect. And it never is for some reason.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I wonder why, life doesn't give you perfect. I wonder why, right? So always wait for perfection.
Yeah.
And then that perfection then brings in procrastination because it's not being perfect.
Right.
And then the procrastination brings in frustration. And the frustration then means I can't do this thing that I'm trying to do.
Right.
And then they're stuck.
Right.
And they're in that rat of perfection.
Do you think it's a woman thing, or do you think that's a particular woman thing, or is that a people thing? Why do you think it's a women thing?
Mostly it's women. I'm sure there's men that do this.
Why is that?
I think mostly women. If we want to go down the patriarchy idea, I think women have been conditioned to be perfect. We want women to be this thing that is always beautiful, always perfectly put. You do everything right. You look after all these people and make sure everybody is okay. And if they're not, it's your job to make sure that you take care and make sure that people live up to whatever that expectation of we're okay because you're here and you're taking care of us.
Right.
And so I think that conditioning of perfection, of you taking care of people, just dumbs everything down. And I think, I always say I'm a bit lucky because I'm the youngest child. So the looking after thing just wasn't my story. That was not my story. I'm like, who's looking after me? That's what I want to know, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think women mostly will suffer through that. And also I think it's a maternal thing. Women are kind of, we bring babies into the world. Right. So that nurturing is always in us to want to take care of people, and that's a natural instinct.
Yeah.
The same way men are protectors.
Yeah.
It's a natural instinct. When a man's not working, he's going to feel not being useful.
Yes.
And it's very important as human beings to be useful in the world, because that's why we come here. We come here to be useful.
Yes.
And I think the natural instinct of a parent or a woman to nurture their children also plays part in that perfection ideology.
Yeah.
And obviously society reinforces.
Yes.
So if you're not perfect at every stage,
then you don't go for it.
Absolutely. And what is your family going to say if they find your house messy or something? You have to clean. I mean, I hear some women will clean before the cleaner comes in. And I'm like,
I know. My niece does that. I was like, what are you doing?
What is the point? Like, stop that. Like, wait, that's why the cleaner's there. Like,
exactly.
Don't do it.
Exactly.
So there's that. And I think also this other thing of, having all the boxes ticked off.
Yes.
Doesn't help.
Yes.
Women expand, be curious, allow themselves to make mistakes. They're so judgmental towards themselves, so critical when they make a mistake. And that just, it's like a chain around your neck that you keep just yanking back. Because every time you do something, you're judgmental to yourself, you just can't move forward.
That harsh criticism and judgment of self. I think women have a hard time with self-compassion. I think as humans we do, but I think some things are way more enhanced in women in that way. I think you said something on your post that, a woman will wait for everything to be 100% before she pursues. A man will wait for 60% and he's out of here and he's gone. And it's very telling to what success, the key to success is, which is why I love you in the book. I find that, you tell me, what is the percentage of success? What percentage of success, I hope this makes sense, is attributed to audacity?
I'd probably say very, very high, right? So I want to even say about 90%.
I agree.
Because most people won't put themselves out there. And if you don't put yourself out there, I mean, I've had more opportunities just for showing up. Just because the other women are at home not showing up. And I'm the only one there. I'm going, hey, I'm here for the party. So I think I would say even 90%, because if you can, I always say to people, you don't have a skills issue, right? You have a confidence issue.
100%.
Because if you can have the confidence to just show up, you get picked. Obviously, make sure your skill is in check. So that when you show up, your skills like, here's my skills. But I would say 90%, just showing up. Just
Yeah.
being there, being willing. And I
Yeah.
always say, I add this on top. Just be willing to get rejected. Be willing to hear no. Because a lot of people then, when they hear no, they then take it and make it about them. I am bad. I am not good enough. I cannot do this. And I'm like, no. People saying no for me, I go, you don't even know what you're missing out. I feel sorry for you that you've said no
Right.
to me.
Right. Right.
And I carry on.
yes.
But I think when you're not working on yourself and you're working on your mindset or don't understand what your worth is, because again, that's a worthy issue. If you don't understand what you're bringing to the table, and I'm not talking money-wise, I'm just talking about the innate characteristics that we're built with.
Yeah.
Because for me, I know I'm very kind and very giving. If you're my friend, trust me, I'm one of those ride or die till the end.
Right.
Like, I don't pick friends easily, and I
Right.
have very few
Right.
friends
Right.
because of that.
Right.
And if I work with you or for your brand, trust me,
You're going there. You're getting it done. Yeah.
blood, sweat, and tears. I will be
Right.
there late nights, early. We'll
Right.
do whatever it takes for us
Right.
to win.
Right.
So I think for me, I've changed the way that I look at losing and
Yeah.
hearing no. And that's what I encourage so many women to do. Like, learn how to hear no and
Right.
make it not about you and what you
Yes.
can deliver or not
Yes.
deliver.
Yes.
Just hear no as not the right person at the same time. So we're looking at someone else or something else that, it's got nothing to do with you. It's what we, the brand, want, and move on and keep trying.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me. The more tries you get, the higher chance of you getting to where you need to be going is going to happen. So
That is so powerful. I mean, if anyone takes anything away from this podcast, I hope they take that away, because I genuinely believe that it's about the showing up,
Yeah.
right? Showing up for yourself. And another thing that I find, especially in the relationship space, is this feeling that it kind of isn't the kind of I can't take rejection, right? A lot of women end up in bad situations because they can't take rejection. If I say no, he's going to leave, right? Within our careers, they might, if I apply, I might not get the job,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So I think for sure the quality of our lives and the ability to achieve success has a lot to do with being willing to show up. Now, Judith, help us out. I'm shy.
Yeah.
I want to, but I'm shy, or I don't have the confidence. What steps can I take today, right now, that are going to change the story for me, at least move the needle a little bit in the direction? Because I want to be more audacious. I know I've got so many gifts to share. I know my skills are great. And I truly believe you can learn some skills as you go. But I've got enough. Give me some pointers. What can I do today to get to a point where I can shift my mindset to being like you? Or it's halfway. Because you're a special being.
Yeah, so I always ask questions. So I normally ask people questions. So the first question I would ask you is, so is what you're willing to lose worth your shyness?
That's
So
a
whatever
good
you're about to
question.
lose, is it more important than the thing that's holding you back?
Right.
That's the first question. Normally people say, no, it's not that important. I'd rather work on my shy. So we're going to use the shy
Right,
example. So
right.
if someone's shy and they want to speak on the stage, but they're shy. So I'm like, is your shyness worth what you're going to get from speaking on stage? Is it worth it?
Right. Right.
So that's a decision-making situation.
right.
First of all, you have to decide something is worth enough for me to go after it.
Right.
If you cannot make that decision, then that's the first step. Because, it's the same if you're going on a journey. You have to decide, where am I going? I'm going on holiday. Where am I going?
Yeah.
This way I'm going. So it's the
Yeah.
same thing. Is it worth it?
Right.
The second thing is, what is it that do you need to get here? Do you need a skill upgrade?
Right.
Do you need to work on your trauma? Is that what you heard? Is that what's stopping you?
Right.
Right? Is it societal expectation? Is it what you're going to hear after you do it?
Right.
Because a lot of people have got that, what are my neighbors going to say? My family's going to say.
Right.
So what is the issue that's stopping you to get to here?
Yeah.
That's the other thing that we need to look at, because
Right.
that is what you need to, that's the bridge,
Right.
essentially.
Right.
So you have to decide. The reason why I say to people, decide if it's worth the loss is because once you start getting the hits, you're not going to stop because this is bigger.
Right. Right.
than the hits that come in.
Right. Because the hits will come from what I'm hearing you say.
Absolutely.
There will be some hits.
Yeah. So decision making, leveling up with skills and or figuring out what is trauma, what is it, is it what's going to come through, then working on those. Those are really important. And then the next thing is actually looking at yourself, because I always say to people, you spend the most time with yourself, and believe it or not, even those people that don't speak, they hear the voice the loudest, because your voice is in your head the loudest.
That's true.
24/7.
That's true.
So you have to decide whether you love your voice. Do you love your voice? Because you're going to hear it 24/7. And what's your voice saying to you again?
Yes.
Is it criticizing you 24/7?
Right.
Is it judging every move?
Right.
What is it saying? You've got to switch that voice to be your bestie, you be your cheerleader,
Yeah.
or to be your coach.
Right.
Right, because the voice in your head can take different roles.
Right.
It doesn't have to be you're trying to psych yourself with affirmations. Your
Right.
voice can then become your coach
Right.
and go, what the hell are you doing?
Yes.
Right? And,
Right.
you know, some people will talk about, oh, my inner voice is my little girl, my inner child. That child needs to be fed up with your grown self.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wasting time, because the child is like, come on now, we are 30, can we move on now?
Yeah.
Right. And then you then have to again find the tools that are going to help you move on.
Right.
Is it a coach?
Right.
Is it a therapist?
Right.
Is it a mentor?
Right.
Is it someone that you're watching online?
Right.
So getting tools at different spaces is very, very important. So I could talk a lot about this, because this is what I, you know,
Of course.
but I think for
can
me,
see it.
it's you know, the voice in your head. You've got to manage that a lot and make sure that you have, again, it's a decision. The voice in my head, when I start to go down the rabbit hole of depression, darkness, and death, is it going to be a coach that's going to be, hey, what are you doing? You're better than this. You can do this. Or is it going to be a compassionate parent that says, you're capable. You are loved. You are worthy. Take your time.
Yeah.
Go nurture yourself. Have some self-care. Have a weekend off. Which voice is it that you need? Because we all need different voices. I don't need the voice that's saying to me, take your time, go to the... I need the whip
You're gonna
voice.
go to bed.
Because I always say last born traits. If you're last born out here, you know that. We like to be lazy and taken care of. Me, I'll be like, who's serving me today?
Yeah.
We're not doing any work.
Yeah.
So I don't need the voice that says to me, it's okay to...
Right.
You have to choose the voice in your head
love
appropriately for yourself.
I
So
love
if
that.
I say my voice is this, don't go, oh, Judith's voice is the one that I need. Actually, look at who you are. What are your needs?
Right.
And then choose the voice appropriate for you. Because for me, when I'm on my couch relaxing and I'm going to Happy, babe, what we eating today?
Yeah.
My inner voice goes, get off your back. Go and work on your exercise.
Right.
Why are you still eating 3 pizzas? You've had 2 pizzas already, right?
Yeah.
So I need a very, my voice needs to be firm and get up and go do it. Yeah.
No
I
negotiation.
No negotiable.
Corporal.
It's like, absolutely. And I need structure as well. So I need to be doing stuff at different times.
Right.
You know, I need to wake up at a certain time. I need to go and do this thing.
Right.
Because if I have a free fall,
Right.
if I'm like, you know, entrepreneurs are like, oh, now I'm working for myself. And then you're waking up at 10 o'clock and now it's 7. You're like,
you
wait,
haven't done anything.
I just watched 1 episode and then now it's 7 o'clock. How did that happen? So I need rigid structure.
Love that.
Because I'm very blasé and I can just chill all day doing nothing.
I love that. And that's to do with what I'm hearing is a lot of self-awareness, enough self-awareness to know the kind of voice you respond to, the kind of tools that will work for you, that are necessary for you. That is so actionable. 100%. That's so actionable. Easy. It's just really sitting with yourself long enough and saying, look, what do I normally respond to? You know, I have clients who they don't respond to the motherly voice because we play as coaches, we play the part of everybody, right? Yes. And I have, I had a client once and I was I'm very stern with her. I don't prefer that method. I prefer to play, but I was very stern with her and she, and I said to her, I'm going to explain to you why I use a stern voice because the nature of your trauma, your background, how you were raised, your inner self does not recognize kindness in that way, and I know it's really sad. Of course, we still have to work on the trauma. We still need to work on the healing. But I found that she wasn't responding to you can do this. But she responds to, girl, get yourself up and let's do this. All of a sudden, Because that was dad's voice. That was mom's voice, right? So I think that even that level of awareness internally, right? To be able to say, I'm going to sit with myself for a little bit and listen to what Judith said. And what is the voice I respond to?
Absolutely.
When I'm feeling lazy, what is the inner voice I respond to? Or the voice, who did I respond to the most when I was a child? Because that voice is probably going to be the voice, mom's voice or dad's voice. I love that. You know, just having that self-awareness. And I love that part of what you said in the beginning, which I think we want to definitely take away with us, is this idea that I'm shy because of something.
Yeah.
I'm not like born shy to be shy to die shy. You know, it's not like a condition. It's not like a chronic condition.
Not.
You became shy.
There's
a reason you're shy.
Yeah.
You know, somebody said, and if you can deal with it because, that's a step forward, isn't it? That moves the needle. I love that. Do you have any more tips for us?
I think for me, the last tip I would probably say is that you need to try to move the needle, right? You can read books about the needle. You can listen to the podcast about the needle.
Move the needle, girl.
But you've got to take the needle and start sewing something.
Right.
You know, because I think that's also a coping mechanism that keeps you stuck in your limitation.
Right.
You think you're doing something, you're actually not doing anything, because you think, oh yeah, I read 10 books, I've listened to Chengi's podcast, I've gone to this conference, I've had the speaking engagement, and I've been there and I've heard. But if you don't take action to actually do something, that's where people fail. Like, so in terms of relationships, if you don't take that action to say,
I'm going to date. I'm
going out. Yeah. I'm going out.
I'm going out.
Right? I'm going out.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you don't decide, this is the level of, you know, husband that I want, or partner that I want, he needs to earn this amount of money, he needs to be working here, he needs to live here. If you don't have those perimeters, then you're just going to get everything else. Right. And you're not going to go where you need to go to get that caliber of what you're looking for. Right. So you need to be very specific in terms of practical action. So what is it that I need? I need to go to this environment, this events, this is the caliber that I'm looking for, and those are non-negotiables. Right. And I'm not going anywhere that is over here. Right. And then you go there and you start looking for that. And when you see anything that does not mirror what you're looking for, it's an automatic no. Don't even try and talk yourself into, but it's got this other thing, but this other thing is like, it's a no, right? Yeah. Which is why, so for me, like taking action, once you've decided what it is, take action and don't start mincing your words by saying, but is this, is that, is this. Just do what you need to, what you've agreed on. But yeah, taking action, I think is, and I know taking action sounds so
obvious almost, but it's not. Especially
with insecurities. Yeah. It's so not with insecurity, because you think, and also you're thinking, oh, I've read 4 books. Oh yeah, now I know that thing. But are you actually implementing that? Are you executing on that thing?
So I still need to send the DM. I still need to make that call. I still need to get out of my house. You still need to do action. Yeah. And then I've still got that insecurity. So I'm going to stay stuck in the reading. I'm going to get stuck in the personal development, because there are a lot of people who are stuck in the actual personal development space. They love the talks, that everything, but they won't do
the work
to move the needle.
The work.
Absolutely.
I'm like, you've got to do the work. And this is where everyone is like, I've dipped my toe and I burnt, so I'm going to just do this personal. Yeah, I see so many people stuck on there. And I'm like, did you do, we call this, like in sales, is like, we call it money-making moves. Right. So did you make a money-making move? And that means, did you take a productive action to bring money in? Not that you've just written a sales page and now you've done this other thing. You've had a meeting with the sales team and you've got a marketing. Designed the have you, right? Have you reached out to your potential prospects? Right. Have you called them? Have you arranged, a live meeting? What have you done to make that money move? Have you actually put your offer out there? Did you talk about your offer out there? And this is, people don't do that. They're like, oh, but I'm scared. Okay, so you can come to me for coaching all day, but if you don't do the thing that is in the list, so you're like 10 lists, and then they pick number 6, 2, and 1, and you're like, wait, there's 10 steps. Where's the other 10 steps? What's happened to the other steps? Oh, yeah, but these ones are the ones that I find. No. All 10. Right. You got to do. Right. So, we laugh about it and we think, but it's a real thing for people.
I agree. So, and it's worth hearing. And I hope that everybody watching this is paying attention to Judith because she's not messing with you. She is not playing. She is giving it to you. And we're very lucky to have your expertise here on this channel. We're very lucky, and we don't want to lose a piece of your wisdom to anything. Now, I would love to talk to you forever. I've got so many questions, but we're running out of time, which is very annoying. I wish we had more time. But I do want you to tell us, if I buy your book, Judith, what am I going to learn? Because you've shared so much, and I could tell you were not able to really get into it as you would love to get into it. But I'd love to know, what's your book going to teach me, and where's it going to take me from? Where's it going to take me to? Tell me about your book.
So the book is called Go Find the Audacity in You.
Yes.
As if that's not enough to tell you what exactly you need to do.
Exactly.
I made it as a call to action so that when people read it, they choose to either want to go there or not. Because some people don't want to be told what they need to be doing.
Right.
And that's okay.
Right.
So it's called Go Find the Audacity in You. And it tells you literally steps of how you can find that. So the beginning is a lot of introductory ideas of what happens when you start to go find the audacity in you. Because it's not an easy ride. It's not an easy journey. And I'm on purpose say to people, life is difficult. Life is not going to give you easy stuff. And the more you decide that you're going to do something, it's almost like you're calling for trouble. Hello, I'm here. Come get me. That's what happens when you make a really firm decision.
Right.
So anytime you decide that you're going to go for your dream, for your aspiration, for big goals, you're a target. And I don't know for what, but you get that still.
Right.
Everything comes at you.
Right.
Right. When I decided to write the book in 2021, I was playing with the idea earlier on in the year. And then my birthday is September. So in September, I always make new goals.
Right.
I toyed with the idea in the beginning of the year, and then September came. I was like, right, we're doing this. I put it in my goals, and I wrote it all down. And 10 days after, my brother passed away.
No.
Exactly. As soon as I decided we're going to write a groundbreaking book, we're going to go out there, we're going to be the biggest hit in my face. I was like on my knees. I could not, 3 months, I was like, what the actual has just happened?
Wow.
And so was I going to not write the book anymore?
Right.
Right. I still chose to write the book.
Wow.
And process the emotions that were coming up as I was writing.
Right.
But these are the type of things that happen when you decide to do something great with your life, because it's almost like you are making this big statement of, here I am, world, I'm ready to come for what is mine and what I know is mine and what I've lost already.
Right.
And so it's almost, the world is almost asking you, are you sure about that? Let's see how committed you are, Judith. Right. We're going to throw the biggest bomb down your life, and let's see what you're going to do with it. And this is what builds your resilience, your character, your integrity. I literally had to write the book crying.
Wow.
And my brother, knowing him, he would have not wanted me to be sitting there blaming me. He would be like, can you stop blaming me?
Yeah.
Because you're being lazy. Yeah. Go do the work.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think that's an extreme example.
Right.
But when you read the book and you start going for your dreams, extreme things are going to start happening in your life. You're going to lose your job. Something drastic's going to happen.
Right.
Don't let that thing be the thing that you use as an excuse that stops you and sets you right back and stops your goals. Use that as a motivation even bigger to say, do you know what? All this stuff happening, it just means I'm on the right track. And I need to be building even more resilience for the more amazing things that are going to start showing up. So the book really is just to show you how life pans out. And every chapter, you can read it on its own. It's not a story weaved into. You can read a chapter. So there's a confidence chapter. Nice. There's a hiring and firing chapter of what you need to do with your mind. You can just read a chapter and you can get a lot of information from it, and you can go and do what you need to do. So if you're a reader and not a reader and you're like, oh, I don't like reading, you can just read 20 pages and you'll be good to execute. So, yeah.
Well, we'd rather have Judith herself coaching us, wouldn't we, everybody? I'm assuming they can buy the book on Amazon.
Yes.
Right? Do you have anywhere else? Or is it just Amazon?
So at the moment, it's just on Amazon, but it's going to be dropping in other places pretty soon.
It'll be dropping in other places.
Yeah.
And where can they find you on social media? let us know your handles.
Yeah, so I'm mainly on LinkedIn, and I like to stir up stuff over there because everyone says LinkedIn is so professional, and I'm like, is it? But is it?
Oh, she's audacious.
But is it really? Because I'm like a divergent. I like to disrupt things.
Right.
So I'm on LinkedIn, Judith Pelucchini. Facebook I don't use that much, but Judith Pelucchini there. Instagram I'm now starting to turn up the gears a little bit.
Yes.
So I am JP the Mind Coach there, so you can find me there. And I think that's all my social media handles. But we've got a website. It's Fingerprints Coaching, so that's where we do all of the coaching stuff for corporate businesses and individuals. So you can also go there. And yeah, you can send us an email through there if you want to work with me.
Brilliant.
As you can see, I'm very much no holds bars.
Yes.
I'm very, very straightforward. I've got the tools for execution, and I do expect people to execute. You don't come into my space and not execute. You don't come into my space and don't do what you said you're going to do. We have standards. We hold you to the standards, and if you don't live up to the standards, you're no longer in our space.
I love it.
Absolutely, right? Because we want to ride with people that are elevating constantly. And for me, I like hanging out with people that are doing way, way, way better than me.
Right.
And this is the energy that we bring. So if you're not riding on the elevator of going up, growth, and really crushing it and doing what you need to be doing in life, we just say goodbye and we say, next, please.
Next. I love it. That's like the Black Swan way, honey. You're on the right podcast. You're on the right podcast. Thank you so much for coming, Judith. It's always such a pleasure. Yeah. We'll have to have you back. And anyone who wants to get in touch with Judith, we'll make sure we put all the links in the description below, wherever you're watching this or reading this. But I'm sure they can message you on a DM or something and begin the conversation.
Yes.
But it's been an absolute pleasure. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming.
I'm so glad we're still in contact.
Right?
Now, you know, okay, so your viewers, I was just saying, she's been treating me like a boyfriend that's trying to talk to her. So she's been keeping me on the back burner. So now we're here. I'm still trying not to leave. You'll see me back.
We will see you back.
I think you've said yes.
We will.
Are you saying yes to this ring?
Yes.
Because relationship.
Oh, no.
Yes to the ring. My ring.
Yes,
so
your ring.
Thank
you. So
yes,
I have. I've been caught off guard, and I'm gonna have to do it because you're worth keeping in my life, and I'm so glad you reached out. I am honored to be known by you, my darling, and I'll be dropping your name in rooms to get in there.
We love it.
Thank you so much for coming, and we will see you soon.
We'll see you soon.
Yeah. Bye-bye.